if you watch this channel on a regular basis, and I hope you do, chums, of course, because I miss you if you're not here, and I feel I'm talking to myself. Well, I know, I feel like, well, look here, this is a London tube station. You feel like you're talking to yourself, but don't worry. I know many of you are very concerned what I'm out about filming. It's very kind of you, but I'm very, very well protected, trust me. Just down here, there's somebody, and of course the platform. We're just waiting endlessly once again for another tube. You know what it's like, another hot day, another tube. That could be the start of a show tune, couldn't it? Don't get me going. But no, as many people know, recently I was lucky enough to go up, of course, to the beautiful West Riding town of Halifax in West Yorkshire, and a lot of you commented on some of the architecture and the beauty of that particular area. And when you think, you look into it and you go, wow, you know, these people certainly knew how to build huge buildings. One of the saddest sights I found, you know, was the former Halifax Building Society building, built in 1853 and now derelict, with all the plaques outside commemorating all of that hard work that all of those wonderful builders did without the aid of machinery, technology, you know, the sort of thing I'm saying. They really should have had our admiration. They worked hard, and to find their hard work now just simply tossed aside and derelict is an absolute shame. You agree? What's interesting really, in my opinion, is the fact that what you find are these things that I like to describe as royal sleeping beauties, you know, the sort of thing. Buildings that you think, why on earth has nobody rescued this building? And why on earth is it at this particular point now? Why does it seem that nobody wants to care or indeed love for it anymore? And I'm sure there are many buildings like this, particularly in your part of the world, if you have them. And this particular feature I wanted to highlight today is this building, the Theatre Royal in Halifax. It has a wonderful story with a brilliant royal connection. Let me explain. Morning chums, as I say, lovely to see you here from Edgware Road, the very heart of London. Nice to have your company. And it is, as I say, you look at this building, right, this is the Theatre Royal in Halifax, built between 1903 and 1904, and had a wonderful royal connection. And what I liked about the building stood outside, you know, because I remember many, many years ago going inside this building when it was a nightclub. It ceased to be sort of an operational theatrical emporium, shall we say, way back in the sort of 1960s as a cinema. It had been a theatre, then a cinema, and then a bingo hall. And as you can see from these pictures, it's not in bad fettle. It could still be put back together, as we say in the north, but seemingly nobody wants to do that. Now, the story behind this was, I don't know if you know this, but back in the day when they built theatres like this, like the Theatre Royal, you couldn't just call it the word royal. You had to get permission, and there was a small fee attached. Now, of course, the story goes that King Edward, actually, when he was in the riding area, paid a visit to this particular theatre to see a particular actress that he had a particular association with. You get the picture. Everything was done with a lot more discretion then. Of course, there were no paparazzi around to record this event, but that particular individual, I know you were going to say lots of particulars, but they were. It had to be all kept under wraps. You know what I'm talking about, the mistresses of King Edward. Well, as I say, fast forward many years, and really, since the 1960s, it ceased being a cinema, and then it became a bingo hall. Now, literally, all of these years later, just over 100 and so years later, it remains empty. It's up for sale, and when you look at it, you think, surely somebody could bring this back to life, particularly with all of those stars that have appeared there, the likes of the broadcaster from the BBC and local boy Wilfred Pickles, the actor Eric Portman. Many big names appeared on that stage. And what I always find fascinating, and I'm sure you must be the same, there are local theatres around me in Yorkshire, like the Huddersfield Palace, and now they're simply student flats. And while those people go around their studying and wandering around their halls of residence and stuff, they have no idea that they're walking on a brilliant stage that, of course, Eartha Kitt performed on, Hilda Baker, Morecambe and Wise. History is just wiped away, forgotten, unless we keep it alive. So in today's sort of segment, I wanted to ask, do you have a sort of venue in your area, a theatre or somewhere like that you think's a crying shame that they've let go to rack and ruin? And could it be brought back to life very quickly? Apparently over here in the United Kingdom in Doncaster, in South Yorkshire, a theatre called the Grand that's remained derelict for many years has just been bought. And apparently they're going to bring it back to life as a live theatrical venue. People live in hope. That's been closed for over 20 years. But it does seem a shame, as I said at the start of this video, when so many people put so much hard work, wonderful architecture, effort to make these buildings stand the test of time, only for them to be, well, left to rack and ruin because people who now live in this climate, this particular era, can't be bothered to save them. Now, as ever, if you can, please like and share. And more importantly, let me know if you have a sleeping royal gem in your part of the world that you'd like to see revived. Neil Shawn, Edgware Road, London.